Hello again. Alright, Ark of War on a budget. Let's talk commanders. Now, in my previous video I was talking about how you need to have commanders based on what you can afford. And there's a lot of pay-to-play elements within the game, but there are also commanders that are actually very good without spending a lot of money. Now, if you take a look at my commanders, they are all either A commanders or S commanders, and at various different levels of where they're supposed to be in regards to being S, or one or two poles just shy of getting S class, or they are S class. Now, once again, I said I play this game on a budget. Typically my budget is about $125 a month, but I do binge spend from time to time based on what I see and what I want and how I want it and all that fun stuff. Everybody starts off with Flare. Now my Flare is an S class, and if you notice, he's all low level because I've had him at S class before and I've absorbed him and I got him back to S probably about 2-3 weeks ago, doing some draw 10s. Anyway, for a first commander in the game, he's okay. I won't say he's great. He's only got 20% hit skill versus some of the other commanders that you can get as you progress, like Nekajiro. And when I first started playing, Nekajiro was a big-time player in the game for infantry, because he is one of the few commanders that has a 40% automatic hit skill. And I like Nekajiro. He's pretty good. He's definitely based around the dodge meta, as you can see by his anti-radar armor. He is a dodging commander, but it only does for one stack, and that's okay. You have some commanders like Albert that have they're airship commanders, but they also have like flash cannon that affects all troops. You have several of those commanders in the game, like Soda Man and a few others. But if you're playing the game on a budget and you want to be able to do damage for little no cost to yourself, you're going to be looking at ignore tier suppression commanders like Bullet and Rock. Those you get right out of the warp gate at either D or C class. Maruko is a B class. And then, of course, you also can get Rocket, who I like Rocket, but I don't work with her a whole lot because I've absorbed her twice already. But her energy armor is a very good skill. If you have built her out with enough defense, you have a chance, especially if it triggers. It's a 20% trigger skill. It can do a lot of damage. Now, Melt and Ridiculous Badger, they've done videos on Rocket, and they've done a lot of ignore tier suppression videos. I do strongly recommend that you watch their videos. They are going to go into more detail because they are directly connected to theory crafters, a group of guys that are breaking down the game by the numbers as to what's good and what's not. Now, as I go through my commander list, you'll see that a lot of them are S. I've been playing the game for almost 2 years. So all my D commanders and C commanders are all S at least twice over. I've done some absorbing, but I've reached a point where I'm not absorbing right now because I'm making decisions as to how I want my lineup to look and who all I want my lineup and who I want back in reserve and who's going to be a weenie and who's not. And we talk about A commanders being very difficult to get to S class. And there's some truth to that because you have to go and buy different commander packs. And if you're running on a budget, say $100 Ace troop pack is not necessarily your cup of tea. You can't afford that. But like myself, I tend to do the weekly pack, and that has a random A commander in there, and that helps a lot. Guild mobilization events, you can actually purchase random A commander cards on bid, and typically they go for pretty low cost, so you're normally able to get those fairly easily. take some time. So I like black. Then I'm an Air Commander guy. And I did a lot of things regarding my research that was to fit the guild. At the time when I started switching things up, I was initially an infantry commander main, which is why my infantry research was more developed. But then, I filled the gap and played utility in the guild for air, because we were short on air and we were still finding walkers from time to time. And I do things on the server with air commanders as well as infantry commanders, because my infantry research is fairly different. Because, like I said in the previous video, do as I say, not as I do. I've spent a lot of time working on various different researches and getting certain things up to a certain level. And the better the troop type you have, and the better you're going to succeed when it comes to killing monsters, especially gear. The gear's another video, because each commander has the potential to be really good. Like, say, Kid. Now, Kid has become a meme and a running joke. And this is for you, Inch, since you keep on asking for a Kid video. This is not a complete breakdown on Kid. The Kid is actually not that bad of a walker commander. The thing is he does not have an automatic hit skill, so you have to either load him up with dirges, or you have to load him up with Dragon Slayers and a good headpiece, like, say, Eye of Abyss or a mini Death Star, for him to be effective, because he will miss, and miss a lot, especially if he's going up against somebody who's very dodgy. Like, say, I don't know, Gilly. Any infantry commander really has the potential to dodge Kid, and then he is ineffective. We could go into strength and weaken effect and all that stuff, but that's a little bit more advanced for what this video is. And I'd rather kind of stick to the basics. Every commander has his place. Even Axe has his place. And Groot, Eastwood. I like Groot. He's actually a fairly decent commander for what he is. And we talk about Vega a lot. Now, I'm going to bring up Vega quite a bit. I've had Vega. This is my third time with Vega as an S-class. And I like Vega a lot. He's a B-class commander, natural B-class. So he comes with quick replenish and breakdown right off the bat. You don't have to worry about building him up. So once you get to A-class and you can start wearing headpieces, he becomes a rather strong commander. He is a poor man's golem. And Melt has a good breakdown video on Vega. I recommend that you look into it. And if you're getting into the community or your guild, make sure you either get a line group or get on Discord and look up the Discord community, because there's a lot of information. There's a bunch of people that have made videos over the years, Hydra Gaming, Suave, Ridiculous Badger, and Melt, that cover all these commanders, and some of them he spends a little bit more time on than others, because some commanders, when they come out of the gate, are better than others. It all depends on what you use them for and how you use them. We have guys that absolutely love Rocket and refuse to absorb Rocket. They have Rocket built up fairly well. They don't have Rogers, so they are not going to be doing anything regarding that for any time, because that's what they want. They want to run Rocket, and I agree with them. Rocket's a very good commander. Their opinions always vary as to what the top 10 are and how you use them. It all comes down to gear. Any commander has the potential to be a major killer commander. It all depends on how you use them and how you gear them out. So my preference right now is air, but I love infantry commanders. Infantry is my second. and I run some very strong infantry commanders, and I have gear that's appropriate for those commanders, and that is why I run what I run, because I actively either garrison or attack with my base 5 commanders. And they're also fairly good monster killers for monster events. Now, a question did come up is, what, especially in the Discord group, what commanders are good for monster killing? Really good monster killing commanders are Rogers, Stella, love Stella, X, Golem. You got Vega's a good monster killer. Pretty much any infantry commander is going to devastate monsters at any particular level. Gilly's really good. She has a 40% auto hit skill, and Walker commanders do fairly good up to level 13, and you have to really build them out and main them out. Cerberus is also good at killing monsters because of Hydra head attack. It's a 40% skill. You just need a lot of accuracy, so Soul Eater's on him. And Acid Jet's kind of nice. He was one of my first real strong hitters. Cerberus was. He has been S, and we got him back. So as you look through and peruse my list of commanders, any commander here is actually fairly good. Some are better than others. They just you have to play them differently, and they have to be very, very strong. Skill levels always have to be high. Especially for the ignore pure suppression commanders, they need to at least be level 40 skills or higher. 50 to 60 is prime. So that's what I have to say on this particular discussion regarding commanders on a budget. It all comes down to how much you're willing to spend. On the free commanders, some of the classic free commanders are okay. Probably one of the best free commanders out there is Chief. I've had Chief twice, absorbed him twice. I do like in early game for full marches, because everyone is still running full marches at that point in time, is Galileo. He's a really good Walker commander. But over time, you will end up getting S-Class, and I recommend that you try them out. Based on your play style. If you're predominantly a farmer, you're not going to necessarily have high leaves. You're just going to farm a lot of resources. It's going to be Farmville on steroids with the potential for your stuff to be killed by somebody else and your troops killed. So, you have to figure out how you want to play the game. Do you want to be a power hitter? Then you're going to go for one-slot bust commanders like X, Stella, Golem. If you're going to do full marches in high defense, you're going to go for Rogers. You're going to go for Rocket. You're going to probably do the same thing with Elf. I do strongly recommend that you get involved in the Discord group. There's a lot of conversations that goes on in that group that will help you out. And I think I am done for this video. I'm starting to repeat myself. So, be good. Have fun. Play safe.